Hey, good morning everyone. I'm Angus. Today, my topic today is do violent video games cause violent behaviors? Well, people say that 21st century is the century of technology. Indeed, with the fast development of technology, we get to enjoy all kinds of video games with better quality and cutting-edge features, from Pac-Man to Hitman. I believe most people here have the experience of playing video games or online games before. Basically, all video games can be divided into two groups. One is violent, just like Hitman on the right, and the other is non-violent, just like Pac-Man on the left. Which group gives you more satisfaction and excitement? No doubt, video games are supposed to be entertaining, and they work as an important recreation for people to kill time or release their stress. However, a horrible incident happened in Taiwan a few years ago. Get all the violent video games a bad rap. The incident of Zhengjie. So four people were killed, and 20 or so people were injured on the MRT due to this crazy guy. And mass media and even his own parents say that the violent behavior of their son was resulted from playing too many violent video games. Well, was it fair for them to make this statement? Let's talk about the logic behind their claim first. They think that playing violent video games will have profound influence on people's thought. Whoever plays games will gradually lose their judgment between virtual and reality. And in the short run, they feel excited, they gain satisfaction by killing people in the video games. And in the long run, they tend to be more aggressive and violent. And finally, they become a group of people that are very likely to harm society. So I have a very interesting example here. Peter has depression. So here's Peter. Peter, he has depression. And he has been so down that he has to see a doctor. So the doctor asks him, okay, so Peter, what has been making you sad recently? And Peter replied, okay, because I broke up with my girlfriend and I read some sad novels recently. And the doctor answered, okay, say no more. So here's the diagnosis from the doctor. The cause of Peter's depression is reading too many sad novels. You'll be like, okay, well, what's wrong with this doctor? Like, that's definitely not the cause, right? So we all know that reading sad books make people sad for a short period of time, but was it really powerful enough to cause long-term effects on people? Likewise, violent video games might have the correlation with violent behaviors, but the link between their short-term effect and long-term effect is very, very weak. Generally, people fall into a trap of logical fallacy, which is called oversimplified cause. So, an oversimplified cause is that people assume A causes B, while ignoring all other factors that might cause B as well. So, the outcome is that Peter has been getting all the girls from the party recently. And the guy just make a statement that, okay, so you think that Peter has become famous since he got a new haircut. So he think that's the only reason. But Peter might be, maybe Peter has been working out a lot to make in order to have a good body shape, or maybe he uses some funny pickup lines to get girls. Then what about the opinions from the experts? So here's a research study of Dr. Ferguson from Stetson University. He studied 103 young adults who were randomized to play no video game, a non-violent video game, a violent game where they play the good guy, and a violent game where they play the bad guy. He found that those kids who had a history of playing violent video games had fewer hostile feelings during the frustration test. Then let's take a look at the data from the US government. So we all know that video games or violent video games has prospered since the beginning of 21st century. So let's take a look at the time frame from 2000 to 2010. So as we can see, the population is still growing, while the property crime rate, the blue line, and the violent crime rate, the orange line, didn't rise but declined during this time frame. So here's my conclusion. First, don't let violent video games or video games be the scapegoat of bad parenting or mental illness or other factors. Second, don't go to extremes. We all know doing something too much is going to harm ourselves. So playing too much video games is really not a good idea. And finally, a proper gaming classification should be taken seriously or should be applied to make sure our young kids don't play the games filled with extreme violence and nudity. Just like people, they won't let their 14-year-old kid to drive a car, right? So, do violent video games really cause violent behaviors? Well, I believe you already have the answer to this question. Just enjoy your games. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne, for telling us about that violent video games are not related to violent behavior.